Alright everyone, welcome back to the Great Asset in the Chronicles. I'm not sure, part 6 or 7 maybe? Anyways, we're continuing with episode 4, The Adventure of a Clouded Kokoro. We have finally reached the, what is it called? Kurt Better, I guess? And now we're trying to find our man, Japanese man, Innocent. What happened the last time, right? What happened? Good question. Well, basically, we know something is wrong, and my current theory to this, to what happened is, during the fight of those old couple, the wife was throwing out objects outside, and one of those objects was a knife that accidentally hit someone. So, we gotta continue this trial. Protect our client. My mouse is in the way. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say his tag. No, but I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend, it's over. The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... Come on, Yonosuke. I can't think of what to say. Susato-san? You got an idea? If I may, Lord Van Zeeks? Seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Boorish? You insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hoe indeed. Well, he's right about that. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh, thanks for a follow. Horse, oh my god, Horse 312. Hope you enjoy the stream. Oh? Fine, Susato. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruto? One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato. Please. Thank you, Susato-san. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked on this matter that you see to fit to pursue further? Well, Verkut has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruto, what do you think? I totally agree with you. It's not like I don't have any other choice, to be honest. It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof that we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the member of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And, of course, he is to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Yes, I understand, and thank you, Musasato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. We can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Yeah, I just need to find out which one. She said we should take a closer look at the evidence. Well, the new evidence that we got was this knife. Well, we didn't find out anything, to be honest. We know it's chipped, but that doesn't say much yet. So we know it's chipped. The next evidence would be this new photo of her having a book in here. The Lion's Pride. And it's burned. It's a missing book of... what is his name? This guy, his favorite one. John Gary Depp's favorite book, and it's burned. Meaning it got lost during the fight between the two of them. Whoops. So there's a distinct possibility that... well, a knife got lost too. At least that's what I think. And if we check this further, we can see that it's burned. I keep looking at this book, and every time I can't believe how badly burned it is. And I can believe what a terrible waste it is. The more I look at the damage, the more I'm sure it must have happened very recently too. And a book damaged by fire very recently. Why does that seem significant somehow? So I think this is the evidence I have to present. Either that or this here. But I think either way it doesn't matter because the book is in it. Oh, we saved, so let's try it. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case, and has hitherto been overlooked. What? Hitherto? What does that mean? Oh well, it's fine. I'll just continue. The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of a crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand. Hmm? Why you object? We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the accident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Yeah, shut up, Dracula. Yes. I'm afraid, Counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, Counsel. You identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yeah, my lord. It's, Mr. Narado? I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Oh, really? I didn't notice. Which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right. That's totally what I was thinking. So, Counsel, precisely where's the vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals? My god, why do you talk this way? Well, I hope it's this. I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burned to a crisp. Well, it's kinda still looking alright to me. So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing. Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? I'm actually kinda... It's kinda funny he calls me friend all this time, but I think he's just trying to be friendly in his own way, or pretending to be. Were I to concede the point if it bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some vague clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this chart book hide? Chart book? Chart book? There's just one possibility here which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. I think this is a point where we have to save again. Perfect. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, Counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage the Soritom has suffered? Its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth. About the book's owner. I beg your pardon? But we already know who the book belongs to. Ew. This poor guy. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. Well, it is not, Patricia. The question how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the question of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly? Well, I guess it was worth it to investigate the strange pair upstairs. The landlord, yeah, that's them. Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of a jury may well burn you if your little game goes awry. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So, Tervakard, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? I know very well, but I'm, well, I like to be safe. So, I always save. Oh. John Garrideb, I think. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb. The landlords? And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Miss Garrideb herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Garrideb's wife, I'm his maid. Yeah, things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright, man. How about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrideb's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir. You're a maid, of course you would know that. You're cleaning it every day, in theory. This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you know? You say? Oh, well, sorry. You implicate this hardworking member of the public. You besmirched her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. Yeah. You know nothing. You haven't investigated enough. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know. But on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Good lord, what sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. Yeah, I couldn't see a barley thing. Didn't take long for a fire to spread, of course. The barley furniture started going up as well. Yes. First of all, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. Oh my god, but Zeeks doesn't look happy about it. The Lion's Pride. By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate. DMB? Lol. Why would you object? This is... risible? All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in the fire. In which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of a crime. Well, it wasn't magical, it was literally thrown out of a window. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Miss Garrideb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb even amid the flames. How awful! I can't even imagine being so hurt to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? I'm sorry, but you're pretty terrible as well, Patricia. Oh, hey, Panna! What's up? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricias would never raise a finger against me, sir. But she just kinda did. Well, I'll ignore that. I mean, but she's kinda cute, you think? She's kinda scary to me. Had all my favorite old novels in that case, but as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. It would be pretty crazy if his wife also has thrown out books on fire, things on fire out of a window. That's pretty crazy. She threw it at him. The man had his back up against the window and he had burning books thrown at him? Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of a crime? Yes, that's what I'm saying. No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. There's no report of a Gyarados window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no signs of broken glass when we visited the Gyarados household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and not even remotely? What? But why? Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that it accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. A reason to have a window open, huh? Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, Counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming prototype thrown by Mr. Gyarados' wife? Yes. I believe it's a possibility, my lord. I like how Susato is always looking at us. That's quite enough. Who's that? Oh, it's her. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. I don't want to hear that from you. Really? Claiming that our little tiff the whole neighborhood all alike. Honestly, implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Dragged up an upstanding citizen's name from the matter simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what should I do? It's utterly unforgivable. Too right. Oh no. Here we go. How long have you sat here now, listening to this Nipponi spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache, and he ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry. What's that? Come on, old man, pay attention. Well. Oh no, not again. It would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Vanzeeks? I'm in trouble again! In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessary protective proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... Oh boy. If your hand is not enough, you use your leg, huh? If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No forgive the discourtesy this time? In that case, ladies and gentlemen of a jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability of further court here. Oh my god, someone save me! Please! Timmy! Why are you like this, man? I hate you guys. Thank you for that unambiguous response. Yeah, that's why, so it's over. Mr. Naruto, don't give up. Mr. Sato? Have you forgotten? The bet isn't over yet. You're not suggesting? Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. Alright, let's do it again, I guess. My lord, the defense asked to exercise its right to a summation examination. You believe you still have a tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. I didn't think I would do it again in one trial. Do we continue? Oh well, oh well. I guess this trial will go on for a long time. This is to be continued. Whew. Part 2 beginning now. I have considered the defense counsel request for a further examination of a jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense judicial right to this procedure. Thank you, Judge, you're the best. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of his crime. Alright, let's go. Jurors' contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 boxes of his. Okay. There was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed. I might reconsider. I can give you that. Even if a woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if a window was closed, can it? Okay. Theory me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even if a direct hit. Okay, so she's stopping herself, huh? Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Why is this guy a juror? Seriously, he should be working outside instead. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. It gave you the sneezes? What does that mean? Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of a jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, the poor glass. No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, it was an accident. Very likely. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. That means I'm afraid that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. Wow, that was actually kinda nice of him. And he was thinking this might be hard. But, Mr. Nardo, you have to do it. Otherwise this will really be where the trial ends. No pressure, then. It's quite enough, preamble. Proceed with a summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel. Oh, yes, my lord. Totally. Alright, Yorinosuke. Focus your mind now. Twice, even. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Miss Garida? We have a book that disappeared from a Garidep's house on the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link it with the 2. Yes, that's what you have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garida and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. Oh my god, now I have to... Oh my god, I have to look at that too. Reactions. Well, it's a 4th try, I guess it's fair game. Alright, I don't think I can do anything with him. He's pretty solid. But as we know now, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's a part I have a problem with. Sorry. So this seems to be going well. Well, in the game it's going pretty terrible. But I think I know what happened. So what I assume what happened is Mr. and Mrs. Garidep had a fight the previous day. Wait, let me look at the pictures of them. Which would be those 2. And Mrs. Garidep is posing as the maid of him. Wait, the age gap is like 8 years. That's That's kind of something. Well, anyways. So they had a fight, and a candle fell down, so it started a fire. And she continued to throw things at him because she was in fury. And what I assume what happened is that the book got thrown out, and accidentally also a knife got thrown out and hit the victim, Miss Olive Green. That's what I think is what happened, but we'll have to see for now. We still need the evidence for it. Well, at this point the woman was stabbed. This landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a furious scrap with his wife or something, you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver is about. It's done a deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I've nothing really left to say. So you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan and rational woman. Well, you're not rational, I know that. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? Wait, what? You see? Modern, metropolitan and rational thinking. Wouldn't you say? Aren't you just lazy? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelming suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Well, she's kinda right about that. Yes, overwhelmingly. But us modern girls are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know? So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if we could come up with one. I'll be happy to do that too, if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern metropolitan young lady. Right, I'm glad you omitted the rational there. But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. Do I have evidence that it was open? I don't think so. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor's fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Windows in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of court indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. As Londoners are like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Also, I can't say that it was closed or open either, so we both have no evidence. But what's the point in even having windows, huh? What the fuck are you saying? Not at all, you stupid. Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window's open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. You! Be honest already. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There's really no such thing as loving incendiary bomb. The poor guy next to him. Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrida. Mind you, that to the point we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I won't have any more of you suggesting that it wasn't anything whatsoever to do with crime. Right. Well, we'll see about that, but what about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning ahead with Mrs. Garridepp's relentless onslaught. Oh, he's pretty tough. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Is he used to it? Yeah, you want some pay. Please give me your reasoning. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down with Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me, my Mrs. isn't one to mess about, you know? She can be fierce, believe me. Believe you me? Another shining example of a marital bliss then. Situation like was cropped up the other day, it was, well, do you know if it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It's too frightening. That's a thing, I must have blocked it out. That sounds very scary. Helpful. I wonder if Miss Beat will ever be dragged into the Thames by a scarf. Oh, Mr. Beat, oh sorry. Don't even go there, Mr. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. A way to jog his memory? Oh, sorry. Wrong button. A way to jog his... Oh, don't tell me the knife has something to do with him. Alright, let's try this guy. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry, what's that? You have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter my grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on top it did. 75 on a cake! What a sight to behold it was. Oh my god. That's scary. You put candles on a cake? Or was it some kind of devil worship? Of course, it was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems that it's a common custom in Great Britain, Mr. Nanado. Anyway, I must have all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but the candles went flying all over the room. How did he do that? The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place was filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold? But how did you catch a cold from a fire? What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room was filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. Come on, react, woman! The windows. The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. It put me in the hospital for a while. Oh my god, you're fine, old man? You got into hospital because of that? I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship all along. Something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. Alright, I can do something about the window. You need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them must seem convinced they are right, even in face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradiction between the assertion, just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go for an insert strike. That's the spirit. Right, yeah, that's the spirit, huh? So I'm going to pit this guy. Also, I got the save. Yeah, Sasato is really wholesome. I'll pit this guy, juror number 3, with the old man. Because the old man has an argument as to why the window was open. If there was smoke, then they would obviously open the window. These two juror statements clearly contradict one another. They do? How exactly, counsel? Don't point at me again, I told you it wasn't me! I guess he was traumatized still because of me. What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up! Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? I see what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6 account for his birthday celebration last year? It seems despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Oh yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if a room was filled with smoke from fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrett household, and Mr. Garrett had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh, my head! Wait, what? Am I supposed to react to that? Well, let's pursue it. Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Wow, she's drinking a lot of tea. Mrs. Gary Depp. Dear me, what is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the occurred. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. She's going hard on that tea. I guess she won't be sleeping tonight. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as we did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Alright then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. What's with her nerves, then? This poor guy, no wonder he must be a soldier, or else he would die from her. Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruto. You've managed to establish where the window was open. Domestic abuse, hello? I guess women get a free pass or something? We simply must have added what? We simply must have added to Mrs. Garriop's home statement. Now you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I'd completely forgotten, but it's true. Alright, what do we do now? The fourth book found at the scene of a crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. The title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title in fact as the book that Mr. Garrett told us he had been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw out your husband? A copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading. I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it? Yes. Oh my god. The smack on your cheek always. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the Kurt from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on as well, you know? I'm sorry, but I can't quite understand that, you know? I wouldn't just throw stuff at my husband when everything was on fire. The jiggles of her cheek is hilarious, yeah, I agree. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Oh, how do I look around? I can look around? Oh, my player's out, that's why I can't look around. His face. What is the drill, number 5? Did your wife throw knives at you? You know something? I've remembered what it was, the memory I'd blocked out. It was listening to what this granny was. Granny? She's not that old, she's like 46. Brought it all floating back. Ouch. What are you calling Granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Scary Deb of a maid I'll have, you know? Or? So you're both? The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time. It was about 2 weeks ago now. Just go back home after work like... I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I had just earned that day. And I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Uh-oh. Oh dear. What a disaster. You haven't heard half of it, boy. Oh? My wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get words out of that, but I told her straight. I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear! It stuck into the wall next to me, I did, about an inch deep. That sounds extremely scary. I guess women are very scary, huh? You better not anger them, guys. No words, just terror. I could smell it then, you know? That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure that I was going to end up face down with muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use a word like that again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw at anything I do. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Yeah, that sounds extremely scary, yeah? Mr. Naruto, you mustn't think of it. All women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Besides, Mr. Sato, you threw me on the ground like 5 times in one day. Throwing household objects at people was so uncivilized. At least attack with honor using a bow or the like. Wait, what? You were trying to kill them? What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if we're there. Susato, please, don't ever shoot an arrow in me. I don't think I can survive or dodge that. Yeah. Sure, let's talk more about that. That's super scary. Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you? That's right, she was chopping meat with it. That tidy edge on it, I believe. Tidy edge? Tidy edge on it. So it's all memories, isn't it? It started with a smile she threw at me when we were cutting. And since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our friendship. Our relationship, sorry. It was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, then a kettle, a chair, a wardrobe, a wardrobe? A cooker? A bathtub? I'm sorry, but what kind of muscular woman is your wife? She must be like twice as big as him. Yeah, your wife must be even beefier than you. And things came to a head last week when she threw me right into it. She threw you into it? Still, she's not as bad when she's calmed down. She's a little sweetheart, really. Yeah, I'm so happy for you. You want to know what I think? I think this whole idea of ladies first that we are so obsessed with in this country was thought up by some clever lads who've been tossed in the Thames a few too many times by their wives. That's a very different way of thinking about it. That's a very interesting theory. What a terrible thought. In the face of it, this true statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Alright, what am I supposed to do now? I guess I should have... A window could have been opened when a woman was throwing books. I mean, it's definitely possible. Okay, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, maybe I'm supposed to work with this. So basically I will give her an alternative explanation as to how she got hit. But I'm not sure if this will work. We'll try this. As to, you know, proposing that the knife was thrown out of a window and hit the victim. Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once. Did you save? I think I saved. Juror number 2, do you think perhaps... But this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the thoughtful lion sprite that was found at the scene of a crime originated in Mr. Garridub's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett household to the street below. What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at the husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? Well, that's a pretty accurate way of being mean to me. I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what had happened. Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the foreman of the jury, I demand a straight answer. You gave us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it? I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't had any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Hey, Sam. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense theory. The other object found that found its way from Mr. Garriop's household at the scene of a crime was this knife. Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else what occurred. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Ah. Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's a weapon that was lodged in the victim's back, man. Man? My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, who had been back against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, through which a book said to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that. Her book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand? Huh, even my missus hasn't got an aim like that. Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point, that's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end, not right now. Oh my. Oh, what? Mrs. Garrett, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Please be honest. Oh, Ark? Are you okay? Oh, Susato's next to me, that's nice. My lord? Oh, I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman! I'd have to agree. Not that I would think the granny did mind. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. Old man, what about you? Phew. We did it. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruto. So, as a result of the defense summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinions of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. Yasha! We did it! Okay, Van Zeeks, what do you got to say? Tell me. I'm ready for your insult. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? Easy clap, yeah. This trial is rapidly descending into farce. Are you throwing your cup again? Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. Yes, he's throwing it again. That's the 3rd time, I think, or 4th, or 5th? I'm not sure. But what follows is a repugnant... It's... what? But what follows is so repugnant that it's good for nothing save a gutter. Want to become famous? No! Well, kinda, but not like this. There you go. Just reporting this one real fast. I always forget where the report button is. Dunked on, yeah. Ah, there. Da, 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 da. There you go. This one's a goner now. Alright, let's continue. If I may, Lord von Sieks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative position of both places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's saying at this time? It would already be more apparent that between the crime scene and the Garrideb household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrideb's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. That's not that much. You can throw something for 14 meters. Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly heard by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? No, it's not. What really happened is that probably the book was thrown out, the person, the victim, was picking it up, and at the same time while she was picking it up, the knife landed also on her back, and she collapsed. At least that's what I think. Oh hey, do you know what is that? Surprise. I see. And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge in the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Come on, calm down, Ryunosuke, we can do this. That's nothing I can say to that. You cannot say a lot to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mr. Sato, serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare you! I see. Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leading. And as such, the court has the duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. Joanne Garrideb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Well, that's something. Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand. Feels like a prosecutor never have to actually improve anything. Well, I guess Van Zieks is just that good. Maybe, I don't know. And unnecessary. Lord Van Zieks. What? There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If I may learn Fran's Farcical theory has any truth to it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have been flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume that they would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses? Is he awake? Yes, sir. Constable Rowley Beat reporting for duty, sir. Well, good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month and for a month? On account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, those London bobbies. Patricia, my darling. Oh my goodness, I don't want to see this. I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Raleigh, my hero. You make me swoon, you make me puke. Oh, terrible. Very well, Harry will reject the defense request. Oh. An order of the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any deals pertaining to the defense alternative explanation of events. Yes, sir! Oh boy, now he's awake. I worry. Maybe he's not awake. This case has nothing to do with Mrs. and Mrs. Garrett. Believe me, London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of a Garrett's house are top-hinged casements. Casements? Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of a window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. That's a lie. You were lying on the ground, barely awake. I didn't take my eye off a crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on the front, sir. Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows. What does that mean? Let me Google it quick. I don't know what it means. Because this seems to be important, and I should at least Google this one. Top-hinged... hinged... Huh? Okay. Top-hinged casement windows. Oh, I see. That's interesting. So you can open them from below. I see. Interesting. That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Ah, yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. Constable? No, sir! Sorry, but... What exactly is a top-hinged casement window? Oh, so... He's also asking that. And you. You cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry. I found it, Mr. Naldo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Scarydab's room. Alright, I'll try. So the windows opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see? Oh, that's totally terrible for smoke. I'm glad you rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay a metal bar which prevents a window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening? So news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. Uh-oh. You see the problem then? Good, your education in windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the books or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the open pane had been shattered, some we've discounted already. That can't be... Did you see that, Rolly? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh, yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, no, I don't want to see this. Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. What was happening? I haven't even started with cross-examination yet. And already my argument's been destroyed. Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. My lord? Oh good, another desperate situation. Whoa, we're best desperate all the time, huh? How can you say that for certain? Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. There's the noble founding principles of a force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of a sworn duty. He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember. Yeah, he did. To patrol the streets of London town, uphold the peace of the common man, is what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here beside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes, I admittedly... Sir. Oh, Rolly, you're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garridup? Ah, I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir. Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time, then. Absolutely, sir. I will answer to the fullest of my ability, sir. That's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garridup's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes? I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London Bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So, to that answer, I'll be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try. Oh, that was unexpected. Let's check it right away. Okay. Now this is interesting. Item number 1. A policeman will strive to preserve a peace within its allotted beat. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around speed every day for furtherance of community relations. Okay, nothing important. Any crime solved under the jurisdiction of a beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on this beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help the detectives. What am I supposed to do with this info? Okay, sure, let's continue. By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir! We're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see? So restricted as to how much we open. Are those onions? The one next to the windows. And therefore anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark a map. Here's the location where objects would have fallen. Yes, directly opposite of a scene of crime on the other side of the rather wide road. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. What would it be, sir? How do you even know? How would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garridup's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Do you have something to add, Mrs. Speed? Sorry? You look, well, like that. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering that. That's all. We really were So lucky. Lucky? Oh, what do you mean? Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly Speed. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh yes, that Street Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly Speed and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat! Hmm? Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with the interviewing of occupants of a Gary Depp's household yesterday. The house is on my beat, you see. You see, sir? That really was cutting it close, man. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. Ah. If a Gary Depp's household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Gary Depp's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see, I was unaware of it. Just think, if a woman had been attacked just on the other side of the Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby after all. No. Don't tell me he tampered with the scene of crime because he wanted to go to that restaurant. Extraordinarily, people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Nada. I'll take care of it immediately. Oh? And now it's my turn, I think. Oops, wrong button. Got updated, huh? So, location pavement of Briar Road, east side. The victim remains unconscious, apart from singing large knife. Other side. The same was seen running away by... What was updated? Oh, I see. The east side was updated. So... what I think what happened is... everything that Mr. Naruto said was right about throwing stuff out of the window and falling down. And their location was actually Briar Road west side. Meaning... instead of the victim being here, he was here. She, on this side, but he changed the beat, well, basically the location of east and west, because he wanted to go to his anniversary dinner with his dear wife. So he doesn't have to do it, because he was thinking, oh, the man's guilty anyway. It doesn't matter if it's east or west side, you know. So he put the person somewhere else. But wouldn't it be weird that Patricia doesn't know the location of it? Oh, let's pursue it any further for now. Alright, tell me more, Patricia. But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down and already it was dark. Oh, wrong button, wrong button! Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along gazing at the night sky looking for a lucky star. Oh. Why? Why am I reading this stuff? Sorry? Star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. And if I had seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rolly be an inspector, I would have said. 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smoke and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. So they did see the smoke. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in the London is starless, sir. It certainly seems like we're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Oh yeah, you bet you think that. Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer's, right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. Player controller, please don't die on me. Battery is running low again. So, Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of directness bewitching me. Ah! Stop it, please! Get a room, you two! Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. No, 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 no. Please stop it. Oh, please. So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. I didn't take my eyes off the crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. I don't believe you. Well, maybe I believe you. Nothing to report. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. Yeah, I hated this set of cross-examination. Oh, I see. Sounds fun. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on Yacht's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me. This bad copy of a lion's part was originally in the Gary Depp's household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of a crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well? Right. Now we know he's hiding something. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had the back over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about the statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her bag, and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really, I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. Oh, Patricia, I'm sure you're not lying to me, but your husband is the problem here. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard, okay? My lord, you will let me speak, won't you? Yes, Miss Speed, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. Basically, it's a pain, so you let her do what she pleases. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that. The Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife is worth counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of directness a little off sometimes, well. I see, so she wouldn't know if it's the west or east side when we're on Briar Road. Mrs. Beat, nobody's questioning what you've told us. I thought I did. That evening I saw clearly. The little eastern man with the whiskers and the funny colored bag slinking away from the scene. But I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about the knife and the book falling down and stuff. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. That means he collapsed before the knife was stuck in there? All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? Oh yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross. Cross? What do you mean, cross? Constable Beat, is there a problem? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone for a good 15 minutes. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. The reason I was long was because of a bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and pennies he found in the gutter while doing his round. Were paid that badly? Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Oh yes. But that was just between us. Not talking about that to anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't find any useful insight, Mr. Narado. But I'm quite sure of one thing. I have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add the details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I would love to. Oh, she's a pushover. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Sure, tell me more. You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of a crime? Yes, that's right. I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her bag, I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave to me. It was in the dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. Then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on? Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see? That's when I spotted my bouquet again, but the funny thing was when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. Oh-ho! In case you need reminding, Mrs. B, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably. Well, that settles it. The body was on the other side. And this guy did something to it. That's right, silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time, I can't think of how it got there, I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is I forgot to pick up the bouquet again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me with that chain from the gutter he spent so long collecting. My god, you guys are so poor. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? Oh! Oh, yes, that's it! Has the bouquet really bought me for our anniversary? The odd bits of change he found in Vegeta. I'm sorry, but we're very underpaid. He can't even afford a single rose. Maybe you just call it a rose. Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of a crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of a pavement in front of the Garridub's household. In front of a Garridub's house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of a thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please? No, I think for a good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Judge, you were best! Oh. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back! Oh, you will be shocked after this. Good grief, rest assured, but I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. I didn't take my eye off the crimes for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on the front, sir. Yeah, you're lying. Nothing to report? That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on Yard's honor, sir. Really, that seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir, seems altogether regular to me. Wait, did we read this before? I'm not sure, actually. The burned copy of the lion's print was originally in the Garridub's household, so the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of a victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Yeah, I reread this already. Why would you have it? She had a bag, and he's avoiding the question. Let's, sweat so. Now the question remains, how do I address this? Well, Mr. Naruto, what do you make of all of this? Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of a crime made me sure that Mrs. Garridub was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. Okay, the question is, which evidence do I present and where do I do it? Basically, I have to somehow convince them or get it out from them that he tampered with the crime scene. And then, yeah, I know about that. No, you wouldn't. Wait, I need to check this rose. Present for Patricia Beat from her husband Roddy. The shock of seeing you, yeah? An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower. This is a rose, is it? No. What? You never seen it before? I guess roses aren't very normal in the past Japan. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruto? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know the 3 types at least. God. 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Both are all trees! Perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some that are fruit tree based, for example? Yeah, you better. It's very stylish paper for the flower wrap, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruto. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. Ah, I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no, I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Ah, so Sato-san, you do love your cakes. That's all you two have to say? That's pretty useless info, huh? I guess that's it. I don't think there's more than that. Yeah, that's the same. I think this will come later. So maybe the rose will be the clue we need. What do I do? Where do I present that? Where does it make the most sense? Okay, we can ignore that, I think. Maybe it might be the last. I'm not sure where I should present my evidence. Nothing strange to report. Nothing strange to report. East side. I don't think there's anything special about the knife. Neither is this. Nothing strange to report. Well, let's just try doing something. But I'm not sure what to do. What do you have to prove? What do you have to prove? Well, I got all the evidences I need. In theory, I got the rose and this warrant card. What I'm trying to prove is that he tampered with the crime scene or did something, or missed something. Currently, the situation is like this. We believe the crime took place here, on this side, on the right... Wait. Go away. Here, on this side. And what I think is what happens is the victim actually collapsed on this side, near the lodgings. So that knife spectacular flying out of the window could have hit her. And that the Rolly guy took the victim and put her on the other side of the road so he can go and have a dinner with his wife. What's weird was I thought he would talk more about it. But he doesn't seem to react. How would he get the book then? She. Yeah, it's probably a woman. Huh. Huh. Ah. I mean, it could have been right that they didn't see the knife in the book. But still... something doesn't seem right. I need to present something. I'm pretty sure I can't get more information out of him. My character literally said we have everything we need to do something. Would you have seen it? I'm not sure what to do. But 3 last statements are the things I think I can do something about, but I'm not sure which one exactly it is. I'll try the book for now, and then I saved too. Wait, I can save again. So we can just go back if anything's wrong. I really took 8 minutes to think. Oh, let's try it for now. This is wrong. Yeah, this is totally wrong. Maybe the flower. Oh yeah, maybe the flower. Yeah, that would have been the next thing I would have tried. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's go back. I need to go back. I mean, both the book and the flower were suspicious. You claim, Constable Beetle, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. Oh. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the Kurt that when you arrived back at the scene of crime with a policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby. Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of a meager bouquet, the single sorry blossom can be so described. No doubt it was blown the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. That's mean, he saved up for it. Meager? But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beetle swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly it's not only a bouquet we are talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat bouquet, there's Mr. Garridub's book. Mr. Garridub's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of a window by his wife, would have struck the pane of a casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of a crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garridub's house. There's no logic explained for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them. Hey, she doesn't look happy. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think Maroli's done something wrong. Oh, he did indeed. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer said? Wittering on about books and bouquet, why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh good, Mrs. Garrideb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garrideb. But deliberately meddling with a scene of crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tempering, Mr. Naodo. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it. For a very subtle but compelling reason. Tampering? You've barely heard of the term before. Tell us, my learned friend. Who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there's someone who tampered with the scene of crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of crime? Well, 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 it's our Roly boy. Roly Bobby. Because no one else would have a reason to do it. He tampered with the crime scene, probably to have an anniversary with his wife, I think. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been, and he was the only one at the crime scene. Constable Rolly Beat, it was you! What? A policeman? A member of a Scotland Yard? Nonsense, why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making that up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about the Japanese man with whiskers? The bet it was him, he did. If that was true, Constable Beater would have seen him do it. Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped me your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well... First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. Evidence, you mean? You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there. That's all. So why would he have anything to hide? It doesn't make any sense. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And answer you do? Your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Well, I do have a reason. Constable Peter had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. So Naruto, have you managed to solve this mystery? Man, what's with all this lovebirds doing crimes left and right here? Counsel, you have made a very serious accusations against the London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need to point out whether your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Let me save, just to keep my reputation safe too. Ah! Constable Beat's motive for tampering with a crime scene was to hide where the book fell, where the victim fell. Yes, where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what Miss Bobby had to cover up, at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We saw it at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road, we saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. But... What? Even Ben Zeeks isn't happy about it. I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing the crimes that actually took place that evening? Oh, I guess around here? But that's on the opposite side of a road? I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garrideb's book fell directly down from the window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Speed, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious! Oh. Wait, what? Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony that Kurt has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark, so there was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid. That was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Peter then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transported the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in the sprint, the victim, herself, with 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing. What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume. Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of a rose bouquet. Lieutenant Zeek said it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet. But it was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Rolly Beat. So he's got an excuse already, well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly. Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all of this? Oh, Rolly, why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse? Hello, she's alive! Guys, what are you doing? Don't just kill her off! Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? No tampering with the scene of crime is an offense here. Wishing the victim dead should be one too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this, for damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. I have a possible explanation. Oh my god, Van Zeeks is not happy about this at all. For why on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of a crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. Well, I don't know what a policeman is saying, thinking, but maybe I know what a man in love is saying. I say that, but I feel like Naruto-kun has no experience at all. And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the starting truth of a matter this far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Judge, you're the best! Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. Agreed. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive of concept Beatles' unthinkable actions? Well, first of all, we should save. Just to be safe if I'm wrong. And the evidence should be this thing. Because it says... When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigation and help detectives. Which means he can't... What is it called? Celebrate his anniversary with his wife. And that's what he really wanted to do. Is what I believe. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land and I've only just arrived from Japan. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that the honorable patrolling the beats is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of his bouquet, my lord. Oh yes, it was our first wedding anniversary. Oh, Fancies, do you know where I'm going with this? Constable Beadwell had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was looking forward to taking her out of a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Speed stumbled upon a crime along the Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him, what must have gone through the man's mind? But sir, just on one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Miss Speed put up with a lot of being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Ugh. Well, it's important, but I don't want to see it. This is the round card of a Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of a crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's alright. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh. Exactly. To summarize. The incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Constable Beat's beat? Good gracious. Constable, do you realize the gravity of what have you done? It was the first time since I became a copper. Whatever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. I've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on the beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations to help the detectives. Why here? Why does this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? Man, I can't believe he just moved a stabbed woman around instead of making sure she wasn't injured or something. It's a copper's job to guard the scene of a crime, so I told Patrick would have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming off my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you have to go to a police box that covers it. Turn right along Masham Street and then... Well, that's how human emotions work. Susato, are you okay? He's not impressed. And Zeeks. Well, you do love your wife a whole lot, huh? He's crying. I'm crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted just that one night to take my Patricia out of for dinner. Oh, really? Just that one night. Well, we're pretty overworked, so I can kinda understand that, but it's still wrong. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evenings of celebration would be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon? Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my roadie would have never left a poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Oh yeah, she was lying on the freezing cold pavement. Holy crap, that makes it much more worse. He just picks her up and throws her down again. Ah, I see your meaning now. But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should have never dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. Well, you would have contributed to his crime, so not good. And can you tell us, Constable? How many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total? 4 it was. Yes, sir, definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsuma and Repov, being the one that fell from a window upstairs in Gary Depp's household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered heavily around, I mean. Oh well, sir, that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When you first ran over to the crime scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, the Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Ah, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. The 4th book was information that has been updated. Okay. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who had done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. My lord? Yes, Lord Van Zieks? I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir, what will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him? Well, I don't know. For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. Because I'm always mourning at him for coming home late. No, I'm sorry. I think it's about the Scotland Yard overworking the workers here. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with a scene of crime. Never again, sir? You mean to say? Leave. Now. This trial's not over yet. Sir! I guess Van Zieks does have his nice sides, kinda? I'm not sure. Well, quite a starting revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting their entire crime scene like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here, principally that the accused Mr. Suzuki Natsume is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there's someone else. Another person could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord and Zeeks, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted, the prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. Wait, what? He started to become nice to me. That's kind of weird. I would have thought he would throw his shoe at my face already. Well, Joanne, Gary Depp, it's time. Time to admit your accident. The defense would once again like to request a cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again? My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative for that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joanne Garrider. Me? Me? Oh dear me. Oh wait, what? Objection? I thought you were totally in for it. That request has already been denied. But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garrider, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? A toad? I'm a frog now? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garrider. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened the window that looks out over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was currently with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open tinged casement window, the book plummeted direct down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garrider. This knife, one removed from the victim's back. Have you really never laid your eyes on it before? I don't recall it. Seriously. Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? You're supposed to remember what's in your house. You're the wife and the maid. And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said the members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes. No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. What? Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You're not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out. Hmm? This is so weird when Zeeks is suddenly pursuing the truth with me. But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have been from anywhere. We have several knives like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garrider? Now you listen to me. I have refused to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought of that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruto? If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at already. Then take the stand, juror. Oh? The prosecution doesn't object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord von Zeeks. I'm going to have to testify? Okay, this is not her voice. I totally forgot it. I'm sorry. Juror number 4, as I'm sure you will appreciate having observed it with your own eyes already today. Witnesses' testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrydap. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Okay, let me get a drink. My drink is empty. I need to get a new one. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey and I'm a lawyer. This is so weird. Van Zeeks is suddenly... Well, maybe he was never a bad guy, I guess? Witness, state your name and occupation. I think the moment he realized that this might be the real truth, he wanted to pursue it too. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see. Oh, yes. My name is Joanne Garrydap. And well... I'm a juror and such, like... It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a household or maid or whatnot anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Oh, yes, my lord. You will tell the truth. What? You will tell the court everything that took place in your house on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh, dearie me. Chin up, Joanny. Nothing to worry about now. Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Wow, he's standing. You're near, right, mister? And he's even wearing his golden badge. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather, I think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. Oh my god. Another love, Bingy. I presume you are Mr. John Garrydap? Lol, he just left there. Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th North Numberland Fusiliers, sir. See my fair share of action and now living a quiet life as it were. A quiet life where you're not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Well, yes, quite. I believe this may represent the first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of incident question. Sir, at once! Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. You can't recall the reason? I can recall it. You got a love card in your book. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpets. Soon had it out though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around at our place. Can't say I'd noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. That belly thing in the victim's bag really was one of ours. You have a job proving it, I think. I see, so I just need to prove it's yours. Well, that's easy. It's chipped, so I just need a reason to find out why it's chipped. It sounds as though it was quite a battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. Fenway caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Curse. A veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. Are we still talking about Emerita Kokoro here? Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of a jackknife. In combat one's focus narrows such that surrounding are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Pt.7 may well be right. Well, whatever the chances. We only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruto. Yes, I'm afraid so. Well, we can do it. Let's go. Very well, Counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Oh, I can. The reason is what you taught us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right, if I remember correctly. It all started because of a note that was stuck into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Gary Depp. Pt.7 is not a bad dude, he's pretty legit. Hey, he seems pretty legit now. In the beginning he was pretty much trying to kill me. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Gary found the note discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it too. Oh yeah, his face, it recovered. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such a thing, it's common decency not to drag it all out. And besides, half of it was wide of a mark anyway. Oh, you okay, buddy? A likely story. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? He just likes you. I don't think he likes me. And if he's very tsundere. Yeah. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? A bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening there, so I sloshed right about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of a street where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. Have you actually seen the state of a man? Super tsundere, oh my god. I wish he would show his dare moments more. I believe he uses all of his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, unfortunately enough. Meanwhile, I was oh wait, we already had that. Even though the room was on fire? As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw. Yeah, that sounds very scary. That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruto. How did you know I was thinking that? Please don't throw me again. So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was the knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I fear I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge. Napkin. Oh, what you got to say? Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Gary Depp! Don't shoot! Ah, sorry, I beg your pardon. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Nothing of any significance, no? Just that the barrage of projectiles were all being launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and fire poker, I seem to recall. Ouch! And the woman's aim is uncanny. They landed a direct hit with every body. Ah! Good grief, woman, we're not at home now. This court of law. Oh, dearie me, ever so sorry, dear. So he's fine with it when it's at home. What's she even doing with the teapot in here? Yeah, I wonder about that too. I think my controller is slowly dying. I can... It's warming up and stuff. Honestly, Sean, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously. Right. Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened? Your pipe, sir. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of an onslaught. Not to clean out with one of our soft projectiles she did, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. And I like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see, your pipe was broken. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. You want to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I'm sorry, but he almost died. I wonder what we should make of his account. Could be important. The defense believed Mr. Garrideb's remark just now to be of great significance. Oi. This war veteran's words only tells one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom perhaps, but hardly worth adding to the former testimony. Indeed, common sense one might say. Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dear me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. Oh my god, that's not what he's doing at all! Mr. Garrideb, run for your life after this! Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. That's one way of doing it. I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naldo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Sato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Well, thank you for that. Rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell us occurred about the knife you used to attack the victim? Well, let's check the pipe for now. Looks... Oh, wow. There it is. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. Yes, I saw. Something stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Alright, now I got this. Looks like an... It looks to be in a sorry state with a bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason it feels slightly ominous to me. Like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garrideb's dressing gown. I suppose it must have been considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrideb. Given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that or he can't afford to replace it, yeah, basically. Yeah, that's it probably. I just need the chip thing. Let's examine that, I guess. This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? I don't really know. There's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of other pieces of evidence again. Oh wait, I got a call. Wait a sec. I was muted this whole time, wasn't I? I was totally muted. God damn it. Well, yeah, my OBS is stuck, so I can't really confirm it. But I think I was muted, yeah. Sorry about that. So basically what happened is we got this pipe from Mr. Garridab, and there was this chip fragment of metal in it. And this chip fragment of metal probably belongs to this knife. If we examine it again, basically we open this, we see it's chipped. So if we examine this and maybe put the chipped thing together with this, we can say it's the same knife or something. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruto, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling... Do you remember this? Ah, that's the tiny fragment of a metal that we found inside Mr. Garridab's pipe. Yes, and just maybe... Oh my, it's a perfect fit! Somehow I just knew it. With this, the knife should be updated, right? Yes, okay, it was updated. So that means we can use the knife as evidence. Let's just press anyway. I think we can already present the evidence, but might as well gather more evidence. Just to be safe. Ah, okay, now it's OBS is working again. Sorry about muting myself accidentally again. Let's continue. Sorry, would you care to elaborate? Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carvings, you see. Pipes and whatnot. Fishing tackle, you know, the sort of thing. It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too, and then there's my leather work. Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the plates, and we have dozens of the things. We sell them at the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at meals 2 instead of knife and 4. What is he doing? No, John, we don't want people thinking I'm some kind of... Ah! Here we go with the scoutings. Why are they being so evasive? I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. I can't be the thought of it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Either that knife is super shit or she threw that knife super hard. Well, considering how tough she is, I think she can even carry her husband without problems. She probably threw it very hard. Hey, Rescue Squad Cop. That's a very long name. How's it going? Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir. Oh man. One accident after another. I thought Kazuma's accident was already pretty terrible, but this is also bad. At least the woman didn't die. I can prove it to you. It was too early! Okay, I'm sorry. That was the wrong way. Sure, I'll prove it to you. So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife unless we can produce proof? Even though there's no other credible possibility of Mr. Natsume is innocent? You forget, my Japanese friend. That it has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. As if I could forget. What if there was some way to know who had handled the knife? But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. Perhaps you're thinking of a fingerprint, Mr. Naruto. What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists? And well, A Saturn Chronicles has picked up traction. It has? Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from the skin, or so they say. But I can't see anything There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation. But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. Oh boy. But this knife found in the victim's bag was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Ugh, if only I could transparent this whole incident to several years in the future. Well, you will have other problems then. Like Phoenix Wright. That's the extent of a testimony, is it? What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Well, I think I've heard all of this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony. But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident. Yes, I know. Wait, I need to see something. Maybe I need to either post this or this instead of a knife. I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that fear, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Yes, it would. So for Sasaki-san's sake, we must. We must find that last crucial piece of evidence. We already found it, we just don't know how to use it. Yeah? 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 I think it's still this statement that we need to present something to. But I either need to present the pipe or the metal thing. Present. Maybe this. Oh yeah, this is the right thing. I was going a bit too far with showing the knife. Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to take a look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing. You can't? Used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a larger print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does, dear me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. Why don't you just get, you know, this thing called glasses? You must very doozy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. He's not impressed. He's impressed? Van Zieks is impressed by me? Now that's new. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how it got there. And what precisely does this fragment of matter signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that this is in some way related to the matter of the stepping in Briar Road? Why did you hit yourself? I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the current record, I believe this tiny fragment of matter will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. She's standing on the box and his entire ass is on fire. This poor guy. Well, it's true love, I guess. You just accept the violence of your wives. Maybe. I don't know. You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then. Present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of matter, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case? I don't even need to say for that. This is the knife that was found in the victim's bag. If you look closely, you will see that there's a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blade sold at the unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. Ouch! That's terrible to think that you ever still have a piece of metal inside you after being stabbed too. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate now, languishing somewhat near the spine of a victim. Ouch. No, that's not what happened. Thankfully, maybe. No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of the metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garridub's pipe. Oh, whoa! We attacked Lord Zeeks! First time ever! Good grief, Lord Zeeks! I don't believe it! A knife from the crime scene from this and this fragment of metal are a perfect match! Good golly gosh! Good golly gosh! What kind of expression is that? Order! 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 Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? No, it's not Eastern sorcery. This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. It's a miracle? A miracle? Stefan Zeeks has figured it out, has he? Council, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Oh, yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is, when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garridub's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of our onslaught. Not without cleaning one of our soft projectiles she did, yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh, dearie, who of them is talking? Oh, dearie me. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garridup flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garridup. Thankfully, he would have been dead. Instead striking the pipe in his head at the time. Which caused the tip to break up, of course. Good lord. Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of a blade found its way inside Mr. Garridub's pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. And yet, it is in your pipe, Mr. Garridup. And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of a blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, a knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. Ah. In short, this knife, which fell from a window of a Garridub's house, is this very same knife that struck a victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh no, oh my god, poor guy, look at him, he can't even afford a second coat. Just wearing that, exposing his bottom. Oh, you're drinking wine again. Are you drinking it so you can throw it into the fire? A full-body fury, I'll give you that. So now he's against me. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The body I fear is corked. Because you see... It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable what? Locum seeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? I know, the inconsistency is because it's in her bag. How did it find a way where it would have hit her head if she was walking around? But that can be explained as well. An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. A victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Ow! You okay, buddy? That's right, you silly little man. Now, John, old finger, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the cases once more. A victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. The knife that struck her had fallen from above. There's no possible way it could have planted itself in the victim's back. Ah, well, the explanation is pretty simple. She reached down to pick up a burning book and look at it and wonder where it came from. Order! Order! Quite right, you see. That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head. Ouch! That would have been why... Well, she wouldn't have been alive now. Well, He's lost for words. Look. I knew it. I never liked this fear in the first place. Oh, don't be mean to me. I don't know, but what really did happen? I have an explanation. Please calm down. It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder. I haven't made a blunder, I just need to explain it. If a theory has seen one inconsistency it cannot stand. A theory, my learned friend, is history. It's not history. Oh yeah. Now comes the moment. It was so close, I could see the truth. I was so sure that we were on the right track, but now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and if the theory will stand. Mr. Sato! You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruto. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the character card, I'm sure. All the information you need is there. Yes, you're right. Thank you that you believe in me. It seems you have nothing to say, my Japanese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. Objection! I have something to say! A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. Oh, Naruto, do something. Perfect. I was waiting for that. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It just means that I didn't find out the full truth yet. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. The test. Yes! Yes? If a knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There's a piece of evidence of a character card that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Goodness. Utter madness. Oh, she's Joanne and he's Gary Depp, huh? Whoops, didn't notice. Surely, this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. This is the last inconsistency. A final piece too in the puzzle. The music in this game is insane. Like, wow, yeah, it's awesome. Usually I have background music on when I'm playing games, but with Ace Attorney you just gotta listen to all of it. It's also awesome how they make everything silent if you're supposed to, well, take it more serious. If you can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. Ooh. My voice is failing me. Starting to fail me. Well, now there are two pieces of evidence that I could present. One is her holding the book, and the other one is the book itself. Oh yeah, I think it's a book because it says a book entitled Lance Fright that was in the victim's hand when Mrs. Beat ran over. Mrs. Beat first ran over to see what had happened. Yeah, I think it's this. This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence that the defense will present. The burnt book? Ooh! Now we're getting into the action. Is that not Mr. Garridub's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. The photographic print clearly shows the book in question. Oh, cheese steak, thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoy the stream. And also have fun enjoying the background music too. And the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all know, it was a police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of a crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true, however. As part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When I first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked up the book of her own volition. And clearly that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she would have been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By Jingo? That's a weird expression you have there. I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh dearie me. Well, fanseeks, that's what cleared up now. We died excited. We know that the book fell from the top floor of a Garridub house into the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. A book I threw. Yes, Mrs. Garridub, and what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down... Oh, she looks kinda cute here. And picked the book up. Ancestor? Yes. Yonosuke Naruto is Phoenix Wright's ancestor. I'm not sure what his Japanese name is, sadly. I know that he's also Naruto in Japanese, though. But they didn't localize the English names this time. Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up a book. Oh, heavens! And when the woman reached... Yeah, my voice is totally dying now. And when the woman reached down to pick up a fallen book, what position would her back have been? That's right, facing the sky completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up a book... Ouch. Well, from picking up a book that was on fire to getting stabbed is certainly something. The next object fell from the room above and the jackknife straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind the screen, was the defendant Mr. Soseki Natsume. Well, never. It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman was simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Ha ha ha. Wow, you got some glare there, fanseeks. I'm pretty sure this case was a 1 in a million occurrence. Well, deaths by accident do happen more often than you think, I guess. And from the other direction, A constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her parent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Oh, Francis, you don't look happy. Please don't kill me. And please don't kill my defendant. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrida. The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. Where have I been? Poor Miss Garrida. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I felt my anger get the better of me, and I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John, dear. Looks like domestic abuse doesn't pay, kids. Yeah, it really doesn't pay. Really, the women in all the Ace Attorney games are way too tough. They're ready to kill you anytime. It's alright, I know. I'm ever so sorry. Yeah, I bet you almost killed him. Truly. I'm sorry. And we got another person that's dead. Oh boy, she's too heavy, huh? Also, his knee is broken, so... Wow, he catched her! That means she didn't hurt herself at all. Man, you're a soldier after all, I believe you. You're not a faker. Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrida? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in a especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. We shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There's some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange, we've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Oh, he's here. Hey! Hey, buddy, I did my best for you. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. Did he even understand the darn word he said? No, it is me who should be begging your pardon? Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? Oh, sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Bede said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits are lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. I'm sorry, but I really don't want to hear about that now. Poor Sasaki-san, his imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. What the fuck? By the fog spirits? I should have never dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help for a doctor, for the police. Alright, he was very, literal boy. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry. He looks so tiny. Or is it just me? Sticky theme is one of my favorites. Well, he has a unique one, at least. One could indeed say that some of the mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zieks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh, Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord? In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decision regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion. I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Oh yeah, the truth can be very cruel at times. I didn't expect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in for the old bean while she's been out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be. This means me now will finally be able to get out here and start work. Oh, it's about time! Seriously, why are you here? Why is he here too? I say, I'll have a cock of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Well, if you even heard half of the story, old man. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hurriedly demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman? We finally did it! This whole case took us how many hours? 9? 9 hours, maybe? Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume. I hurriedly pronounce you not guilty. Woo! Yay! We did it! That was a whole ass struggle. I'm surprised for every case so far, except Kazuma's death, it was very horrible, has been pretty, I don't know, fine so far. I feel like in Ace Attorney we had more severe cases. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord, sir. You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh yes, sir, of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set a foot in the courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. Okay. Foreshadowing. Don't tell me he's going to die. He's a good guy. He didn't do anything. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. What do you mean foreshadowing? Is he going to die? Please don't die. That guy is really innocent. He didn't do anything. Oh, Locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruto, Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last! I'm free! I'm free! Okay. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty happiness, hurrah! What? Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman wasn't nowhere your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that! Lovely lawyer, Locum, lawyer, what? Yes? I mean, as I said before, I've just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down at me, laughing, look at that little hunchback. Oh dear. What's all in your head, Mr. Natsume? Well, half of it is. But today, you Locum lawyer gave me gloom to the boot. What? You stood firm behind the Barana bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of a Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" Oh, that's very flattering, I guess. And we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. Sholmes! I thank you for helping me. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. You were asleep this whole time? Are you kidding me? I thought we were friends. Oh, whatever. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I'm not a moment too soon. The disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Nardo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It just finished. What? No, then my haste was in vain. What haste? You were sleeping. It's you. Herr Sholmes. Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken all of the gloom, even of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Why did you say it that way? Charming, indeed. This is all your fault, Herr Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a peace of mind. Okay. My apologies, sir, but I assure you I've placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently? I fear perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. Did you just change his pose? But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless! Oh, I'm sorry, really, but... that was quite priceless. Poor Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But there's no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Oh yeah, right, GallantBlueEXE. I haven't forgotten, you know, what faking the man in curtain means. If you're not found guilty, you're still doomed. It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. The Reaper appears trying to make trouble. I will protect you. Wait, what? Hi, what? What did I ever do to you? With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head a bit, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Mr. Sato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experience to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh. Sorry. It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited university libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with a tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it's my calling to stay home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Oh, in perhaps less vague terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more of a strange feeling claws at my inside. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be interesting to read. I feel like it actually exists, if they say it like that. And what about Mr. Sad and yourself, Mr. Naruto? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustache compatriot? Where would we? We're studying here. The week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. Yeah, seriously, it wasn't even a week. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet. And you're accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodging. I don't want to live there. Oh, the windowless room? Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up with the floor, a ceiling and walls. That's like every house. And of course, I'll be happy to leave behind a cursed evil spirit. Oh my, an evil spirit? No, I'm not just interested. Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's infallible wake-up call. It's because you don't have any air in that room. We'll think about it if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodging with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Vote is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. Wait, we don't have any luggage? How do we even change clothes? Hello? Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodging in the great detective's office attic. I'm too overcome for words. Are you really crying over this, Susato? So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. When it's settled, Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes. I see. What I presume what Sherlock is doing is getting behind what the Reaper's curse is. Because it would be tonight when Mr. Soseki Natsume would be attacked or killed. So if he's with us taking dinner, he would be protected by Sholmes at least. At least that's what I assume. Wonderful, then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy. Yeah, she's happy. She looks cute that way, so it's okay. Locum, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume, it's been a privilege meeting you two. Shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong to Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day. Will we now? Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then I'll be a successful author. Yeah, I will show you. You'll be fine. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruto? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I have little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home. 221B Baker Street. And we did it. And I'm sorry to say that I gotta run. Wait. Yeah, because it's getting late and I need to get food. I'll stop here, even though the chapter is going to end soon. Because the case is officially over. And I really gotta run now. I'm glad that I managed... Oh, okay, yeah. Because it's almost dinner time and I need to get my brother. I need to get him with a car, so I don't have any more time left to play, sadly. Alright. So we'll stop here and we'll continue checking our attic, I guess. I hope it will be end nicely, hopefully. So thank you guys for joining, and we'll see each other again the next time. Thanks again for today, and bye-bye!